Hi there, it is Bobbie Jo and Brewski, the real estate dog. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about making an offer in a competitive market. A competitive market is when more than one person is more than likely going to put an offer on a house that you're interested in as well. One thing we can do to make your offer look stronger is to increase your earnest money deposit. The earnest money goes towards your closing cost or your down payment, or you can get it back at closing. But to a buyer or to the seller, it is a security saying this person's really serious and they're willing to put this much money on the line. Some people will even waive their earnest money, meaning that no matter what, you can keep the earnest money. I don't always advise that personally, but in certain circumstances, if you're underwritten approved, maybe. I do recommend you to increase the amount to help the seller see that you are very serious about the offer. Another thing we can do is write a letter. Some agents say it doesn't work, but it might work. So why not try to write a letter? The letter would just be something of like, I love your home, absolutely the way it is. Your big tall ceilings really spoke to me. I love the way that your sink is positioned, whatever it is that you liked about the home that might make the seller feel like, oh my gosh, I'd love them to live here because they love the home the way that we have it. So that's another idea. If you are underwritten approved, that means it's not just a pre-approval from a lender. Your file has been put through an underwriter, meaning they've overlooked it and maybe they've already given you homework to do to make sure that you are underwritten approved. When you've gone through this process, it can allow you to close in a shorter amount of time because you've already gone through one leg of the lending. So we can shorten up the closing. So if you're underwritten approved, we can feel more comfortable that your loan will go through, but also the seller will be excited because we can say we can close in 3 weeks. Everyone else can close in 4 weeks. We can close in 3 weeks or shorter or sooner. So that might be something that would be attractive to a seller. Another thing we can do is if someone is having to move out of the house, we could say that we'll give you an extension of time after closing to get your things out of the house without having to pay for it. That could be attractive to a seller because a lot of times they have to wait for their house to close before they can move to a new one. And if we're saying we're willing to let you stay there for a while, that may take some of the stress or the burden off of them. And just so you know, when you get a mortgage on a home, you skip a payment because you prepay everything at closing for the first month. So you do not have a payment on the property until the second month that that property is yours. So if we're letting someone have the property for 2 weeks after closing, it's not costing you every day for that timeline. So just be mindful of that. It's not like you're paying someone to live there. If you also are looking in areas where maybe the house is vacant, certainly on a vacant home, closing in a shorter amount of time would be very attractive to a seller. So keep that in perspective as well. If you are working with me and as we go into spring and you're working with my preferred lenders, I would highly advise you to get underwritten approved before we even start looking for properties, because I know that the market is pretty competitive right now, and that's going to be a way to help us execute getting into an offer. You know, it may not make a difference on every offer we write, but it certainly will make a difference on some of them, and it has worked for me. So if you have any questions or want to strategize your situation, please reach out to me. I'd be glad to help you.